Ma'am, for the third time, we do not understand you. The concierge's voice was taut, his eyes flicking toward the growing crowd near the marble front desk of the Liberty Hotel in downtown Boston. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. The Japanese woman in a navy blue coat stood still as stone. Her hands were folded politely in front of her, but her eyes, sharp, unreadable, swept across the space like a general scanning a battlefield. Behind her, an assistant in a dark suit fumbled with his phone. Two translators whispered helplessly, faces flushed. "Should we call security?" One staff member murmured behind the desk. "She's not being aggressive," another whispered back. "She's just not responding to anything, in English, French, or Mandarin. And she's booked in the presidential suite, no less." From the far end of the lobby, near the gleaming brass luggage carts, Noah Whitaker watched silently as he polished the rim of a glass table. His gray janitor's uniform blended into the backdrop like wallpaper. People don't notice janitors. That's part of the job, especially in a place like this hotel, where luxury is measured not just in marble, but in who gets to be heard. Madison Crane, the hotel manager, descended the grand staircase like a Broadway actress making her entrance. Her stilettos clicked crisply on the polished floor, her crimson lipstick a punctuation mark of manufactured poise. "Good morning," she said with rehearsed calm, placing both hands on the desk. "I'm the general manager here. How may we assist you?" The Japanese woman didn't respond. Madison repeated herself firmer this time. Still silence. Madison turned to her staff with a forced smile, tugging at the corners of her mouth. "She's refusing to speak. This is unacceptable." The murmur spread like ripples. From where he stood, Noah felt the air shift. He had worked here for 15 years, since the grand old building had been converted from a historic structure into this palace of hospitality. He knew its every whisper, every hidden door, and he knew people. This woman wasn't being difficult. She was terrified. It was in the minute tension of her shoulders, the way her gaze kept darting to the exits, the profound stillness that spoke not of defiance, but of a deep, freezing shock. She was lost in a way that had nothing to do with language. Noah set down his polishing cloth. He moved slowly, unobtrusively, skirting the edge of the crowd. He remembered a guest from years ago, an elderly man from Okinawa who had been similarly paralyzed after a traumatic flight. It wasn't words he needed then. It was an anchor, a gesture of pure, wordless understanding. Noah approached the assistant, whose phone was now displaying a frantic translation app. Ignoring him, Noah stopped a respectful distance from the woman. He did not look directly into her eyes, which he sensed would feel like a threat. Instead, he bent down slowly and placed his hands on his knees, bringing himself to a lower height. He then looked at the floor near her feet, and with a gentle, deliberate motion, he smoothed a non-existent wrinkle in the carpet with his hand. It was a universal gesture of care, of tending to one's space. The woman's sharp eyes stopped their scanning. They focused on his hands, on the humble gray fabric of his sleeve. Noah then reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple, clean white handkerchief, neatly folded. He held it in his open palm, not offering it, just presenting it as a quiet, neutral object of solace. He then pointed very gently to a plush armchair in a quiet corner of the lobby, away from the crowd, and made a small, calming motion with his hand. The assistant started to say something, but the woman raised her own hand, silencing him. She looked from the handkerchief to Noah's face, and for the first time, her own expression softened, the terrifying unreadability melting into one of profound relief. She gave a single slow nod. Noah nodded back, stood up, and gestured again toward the chair. He then walked to the side table nearby and poured a glass of water from a crystal pitcher, placing it on a small table beside the chair. The woman followed, sitting down gracefully. She accepted the water, took a small sip, and then, from her own coat pocket, she retrieved a small notepad and a pen. In elegant script, she wrote a single word and showed it to Noah, "Arigato." He smiled, a warm, crinkling smile that reached his eyes, and gave another slight nod. He then returned to his cart, picked up his cloth, and resumed polishing, fading back into the wallpaper. The entire lobby had fallen silent, watching. Madison Crane stood frozen, her poise cracked. The concierge looked baffled. The crisis had been dissolved not by authority, language or protocol, but by a simple, profound act of human recognition. The woman's assistant finally found his voice, speaking quietly to the manager. "Mrs. Tanaka? She has selective mutism due to severe anxiety. The long flight and the crowd." She shut down. "Thanks, your man." He understood what no one else could. Later in the staff break room, Madison found Noah drinking a cup of tea. "Mr. Whitaker," she began, her tone uncharacteristically hesitant. "What you did out there? How did you know?" Noah looked up, his eyes kind and old. "You learn, ma'am, after a while, to listen to what people aren't saying. Sometimes the loudest cries are the silent ones. Everyone just needed a little quiet kindness." He took a sip, his work there done, having reminded a palace of marble that the most essential luxury of all is a compassionate heart. If you were moved by this story of quiet empathy and the profound connections that happen when we look beyond words, we have many more tales that explore the true depth of human kindness. For more stories that highlight compassion in unexpected places, please visit our channel Kindness True Stories. Each narrative is crafted to remind us of the goodness that surrounds us. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like this story, share it with someone who needs a reminder of humanity's light, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories for your regular dose of hope and heart. Your support helps us continue to find and share these beautiful moments. Thank you for watching, and remember, a little kindness can be the most powerful language of all.